Hey, what's good, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on Bobble Talk, everybody coming in, trying to get everybody loaded up and everything else. Um, we have a very special episode, very special guest today with Rajai Davis. Huge fan of Rajai this time out here. Obviously with the A's we have Detroit and we have Cleveland. We're all over the place. I want to welcome him on. I want to welcome Damon on. This is the son of Dimitri Young as well. He helps me collect and everything else, and I bought a ton of stuff. Very fortunate to come across him. Very fortunate to come across Rajai as well. Rajai, thank you for joining us today. I'm gonna put you here kind of on the big screen, and we're just gonna kind of talk about things. Kind of started out just like when in your well, number one.
Your mic went.
Did we lose you, Rob?
Yeah, I was about to say, do we lose him?
He muted himself. You're muted, Rob.
My fault. My mic.
Rajai, you made him nervous, man.
No, you got me here, man. So you guys can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to switch the mics.
It's muffled though.
Oh, I gotta switch the mics again. All right, my bad. I dropped the mic and it switched over. Let me go back. Well, somebody take over a second.
Well, I apologize in advance. My daughter's, she keeps FaceTiming me, so usually
Did you need to take it?
Usually I put her to bed 8:30, 9 o'clock. So she was calling me early. She must want to go to bed early today.
If you need to do that, family first, man.
Yeah, go right ahead. Do you want to come back on a little bit later?
We're okay right now. I think she's okay. She just get out of dance. Just dropped her off out of dance.
All right, cool.
Gonna hang out with moms for a little bit.
Cool. All right. So let's start off. Mark, you had some questions kind of set up, right?
Yeah, I do. I mean, first of all, Rajai, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for your time. Big fan. I know, speaking for Rob and the Bobble Foo as well, we're big fans of you during your playing days. I know we'll probably get Rob and I are big Oakland fans, so we'll get to a little bit of your playing time with the A's. But I mean, when I think, even though I'm a huge A's fan, when I think of Rajai Davis, I think of the 2016 World Series. In my opinion, the home run that you hit in Game 7 is probably top 3, 4 most clutch home runs in World Series history. That World Series, obviously, it didn't go the way that the Indians or yourself wanted it to go, but being down 2 runs in was bottom of the 8th, right? And facing Aroldis Chapman. Can you just kind of walk us through like what you're thinking in that at bat, which leads to one of the most historical home runs in baseball history?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As my daughter's coming in now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
It was really crazy moment, to say the least. When you growing up, you dream about having a moment like that. You know, I can remember back playing in the backyard and playing wiffle ball and pretending it's the World Series. You know, I had some friends who had some replica. They had a replica of the Fenway in their backyard, so it was fun playing wiffle ball at their house, to say the least. But you have these moments of just, I'm thinking I'm Ken Griffey Jr. batting left-handed, and all that stuff. It's really exciting, but when you get to this moment and you realize that this is it. Hang on one sec.
No problem.
So in the meantime, can I ask you guys, how was the reverse boycott yesterday?
That was crazy, man. It was a big crowd, a lot of emotion. Um, it was a great time. Being there was fantastic. Being there was amazing. Today feels a little bit kind of like I keep telling, not necessarily a funeral, but like a celebration of life kind of thing. That's what I keep telling everybody. But it was crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's
All right.
all right. Rajai's back. So yeah, we're just, the question is, walk us through the home run. Like, what was it like standing up there against Aroldis Chapman throwing heat? And
Yeah, no, that Chapman is electric. I mean, I don't think he had given up a home run since June. Okay,
Mm.
and we're getting into November, so see, he's gone several months. So when he gets the ball, game's over, and he's not giving up any home runs. And I hadn't hit a home run since August of that year. So that he is not giving up any home runs. So game's over. Cubs fans know it. Cleveland fans know it. The only one who didn't know it was I didn't know it.
so Rajai, were you like, did you go up there? I mean, you were deep in the count. I believe it was 2-2, if I'm not mistaken, but you fouled off several pitches in a row. Were you still looking to hit it out of the park, or what's your mindset? What are you trying to do?
You're not looking to hit it out in the ballpark. You're just kind of looking for me and them at that moment to make solid contact. But I knew if I made solid contact out in front of the plate, I had a better chance of driving that ball. That's why I was choking out.
Yeah.
My only head. I'm only throwing head at the ball. Just throw the head at the ball, and less handles, more of that thick part of the bat, sweet part of the bat.
You must have been floating after that, man. That would have been crazy.
It was like moving in a dream. It was almost unbelievable. It was unbelievable, to be.
So saying that, like, you felt like you were in a dream. Like, would you say that I mean, I know I'm certainly no professional athlete, but what would you like? Was your heart rate racing, or were you just like on some like kind of super zen calm level?
I was on something like that. I was actually I did a lot of like praying and like kind of meditating, and so I was in this state where I was confident. Though I was very confident in this moment. I have a poster, a painting in my house that has Chapman and myself. It's called The Battle in the bottom of the eighth, and that's what I considered it. This is a battle. It's not against me and 9 other folks on that field. It's me and one other guy, and I was determined to win that battle. I had a lot of confidence, and apparently I had a lot of angels on my side too.
It's amazing.
Just an incredible moment. I just have one more question in terms of that moment, and then I know Rob's got stuff that he'd like to get to, but I know that you just from being close with Rob and seeing some of the things that he's acquired from your playing days, what happened to that bat? That's got to be in Cooperstown, right?
No, that's definitely I got that in a nice nice spot,
I'm glad you have it.
where I can display it and see it daily.
That's good.
Right.
Hey, every time Damon throws things out, that's available or whatever, there's people lining up asking about that bat, man. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damon just gets hammered with that. It's crazy. It's funny to watch that.
It's in the right place though. That's definitely
yeah.
where it belongs for sure.
Yeah. Hey, you just came out here to Stockton not too long ago. It's kind of close to where I was at with the Ports game. Did you have a good time when you came out?
Yeah, yes. I mean, anytime, I get a chance to talk with, the fans, interact, that's always a good time for me. I have a good time wherever I go. It just, God has given me this joy that I have. And regardless of situation, conditions, I find the best in any situation that I'm in. So I've just been fortunate enough to have a lot of good situations, and I'm fortunate. I thought that was a bug crawling on my wall.
It's a little one. I saw that. I saw that too.
Coming after me. um, but no, it's really a joy and a pleasure to be in this position, to be able to affect a lot of people and to share a moment that so many people remember exactly what they were doing, exactly where they were, and I just get to share that with the likes of many fans, many baseball players of all walks, from the minor league player to the Hall of Fame player. They remember where they were, and talking with them, it's really surreal when I get the opportunity to talk with them about that moment.
Yeah, you made a
I
lot of
love it.
fans coming out that day. There's a guy here named Jay on here, and he made a you made a huge impression on him. I think he talked about bobbleheads with you and stuff like that. And he's just about best shape guy I've ever seen. And you guys took a great picture together and stuff like that. He says you can always tease him about his guns or something a little bit out there. So he was a great guy. You made a huge impression on him. We were late. We were up pretty far away from where we were trying to get down there to it. And I wish I would have got out there and got to meet you in person. I would have loved to have done that. You did. I did have you do a cameo for my wife for Mother's Day though, and she's on here, and she was thrilled when she got that. It was pretty cool, man. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that went out well.
Oh, you were her favorite, hands down.
Oh,
No problem, man.
appreciate that.
But I have a quick question for you. So by the way, I'm the Bob Fool Man. Pleasure to meet you. Um, I'm a big collector. Just like Rob and Mark, and the same thing with Damon. We talk crazy about collections, and one thing that I've always wondered, for major league players, and this is a question that I always ask when I get the chance to. You being around so many amazing players and so many people that you share the field with, who's the one person who got you starstruck?
I got a chance, obviously, like you said, to play with a lot of stars,
Mhm.
and I think the one childhood player, major league player that I got to play with, um, was Barry Bonds. It's like, man,
Oh well.
when I got on the field, I'm playing center field. Barry Bonds is playing left field.
Mm.
Wait. I'm playing catch on the field in a major league stadium with Barry Bonds. I'm
Man,
I'm I'm I'm, I'm thinking about, man, who am I going to tell first? Like what like, they not watching the game. Because we on the West Coast, East Coast, they probably go to sleep. They don't know like what's going on right now.
yeah,
I'm playing this guy that hit homers after homers. I'm like, this guy. I'm playing catch with this guy. These are guys I saw in the video games.
yep.
Because I was a big avid, video game, baseball, video game playing folk. I had the King Griffey Jr. For Super Nintendo. I had all those little games, but that was, I think, the one that kind of set it put it over the top for me.
I love that.
So growing up, did you collect cards and that kind of stuff, and kind of be real into everybody in the league kind of thing, and so is that how you grew up? Kind of like that, following the history of Major League Baseball and stuff like that.
So I grew up 7 years old. My uncle said he's going to take myself, my siblings to a major league game. We ended up going to Shea Stadium. I was 7 years old for the first time. Got to watch Darryl Strawberry, Daryl Boston go back to back home runs. Howard Johnson was there. So it was a good time in New York. It was right after I believe they had won the World Series, so it was a good time to be a New York fan, New York Mets fan, and it was great for me to experience that. And then I could find my brother and I, we were found ourselves trying to collect cards, and we got this book thinking like, oh man, this card is worth $56. We put it in, and we had no idea. We put it in sandwich bags, like this is a reverse.
That's crazy. Because so like you talking about Barry Bonds, you bringing that up. So we had the pleasure of hanging out with Ruben Sierra for a couple hours, right? And he was just nonstop about talking about Barry Bonds. Like that was the first thing he brought up was Barry Bonds. That's crazy. You brought that up first, or kind of one of the things. But I mean, you're seeing great. You've seen all kinds. I mean, you're great. I mean, let's be honest.
Yep.
I mean, your speed. I mean, you had a combination that was, untouchable. That's why you stayed around in so many teams, and you played how were we at 13, 14 years now you played?
Parts of 14 years, 12 years of service time, and yeah.
And you hustle. I mean, that's how you
Yeah.
played. I mean, that you talked about, because when you came like with Oakland, it was when Coco Crisp was hurt and stuff like that. And I mean, we embraced you in that environment because how well you played. I mean, you just
Yep.
you play nonstop and play your same way, your same heart, and everything else is just fantastic. And that's why people fall in love with players like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you, just for recognizing that, because obviously when Oakland, they had their guys, and I was not one of them, but I kind of weaseled my way because I stayed healthy. I
Yeah.
was the one guy who could stay healthy and did
Yeah.
stay healthy. And when those guys went down, your boy was ready.
Oh
That's right.
yeah. Oh yeah, you felt
Awesome.
it was amazing, and I hope you felt it from the crowd as well, because we just I hope I don't know what it's like in every environment, but we try to show our appreciation with the hustle and stuff like that back to the players. I don't know what it's like being you necessarily, but we try to hope for that to convey
Well,
that.
I definitely felt that. I definitely felt the love from Oakland. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, can
From
I ask
from
you
a
a quick
fan
question?
standpoint, like me, I've always liked the fast players. So you had the stolen base record at one point, right? What, 2016 or something, right? If I'm not mistaken. So like Ricky's a big guy in Oakland. For me, like I always loved Juan Pierre. I love watching Trey Turner. These fast guys. So watching you also, man. Like I props to you, man.
Now, Raj, my question to you, real quick, is I like watching highlights with my buddies whenever they're like, "Oh, you work for Rajai," and the one thing I always saw was you just terrorize pitchers. Were there any pitchers that you terrorized specifically that when you were teammates with them, they're like, "Hey, I'm glad we're on the same team now because I couldn't get you out. I couldn't. You got on the base path. You got on first. I knew by the second strike on that batter, you were at third. Okay, so for you, did you ever have any of those experiences where like, okay, come on, man, we need you to stop stealing?
Yeah, that was my bread and butter. It was so much of my bread and butter, and you might have heard. Hang on a second.
Okay.
So back to last night.
Yeah, back to last night. So
Yeah.
question though. Question.
Yeah.
Why the trash on the field?
It was a bad look, man.
That was from way up above because I was
You
afraid I
know
was gonna
what?
get hit in the head.
I think those aren't even real fans that did all
It's
that,
not.
bro.
It's not.
It's
Okay.
not.
Okay. Then look, I
No.
appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But I was such a huge like that was like when I was on the bases, that was like my haven. It was like, man, it's on. I'm there to terrorize them. I'm there to get them attention. I'm there to score runs. I want to score runs, and the more attention I can draw on myself, I figured, the more fastballs that my teammates could get, and hopefully drive into the gap somewhere where I can score. And if they don't drive it, guess what? I'm stealing it because I wasn't hanging around too long. That was one thing that I made sure I'm going. That's what I learned from Ricky. Ricky Henderson taught me that. Sometimes you just gotta go, son. You gotta go.
So how involved was he? He was hands on down there coaching like constantly or what?
So in spring training, he came out, about two weeks every spring training, and
Mm.
then he would come during the course of the year. So I'd always get an opportunity. Of course, when the Yankees and the Red Sox came into town, the big games, Freaky showed up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, he got a knack for that for sure.
Did Ricky tend to spend more time with someone like yourself who he probably saw a lot of the same characteristics in?
Ricky had no choice. Okay, it wasn't his choice. It was my choice. I'm going to spend time with Ricky. He
Mm.
couldn't get away from me if he tried. I'm following Ricky wherever he go. It didn't matter where he went. They were bringing him down anyways. I'm following. He going to minor league side. I'm going. I'm going minor league today. Okay,
That's
Wow.
awesome.
that's what
Oh,
I
I
did.
love that. I love that.
That actually leads or maybe answers one of the questions I have for you is it's a little bit of a two-part, but who like helped shape or who did you model your game after prior to becoming a professional? And then second part would be who really helped take Rajai Davis to the next level of Major League Baseball player once you crack the big leagues?
There was really no one person. It was a
Mm.
combination. I had so many mentors. I had so many coaches. I had
Mm.
so many people every step of the way that helped me get a piece here, a piece there, a piece there. By the time I got to Oakland, I heard already stolen over 200 bases,
Wow.
mainly in the minor leagues. So the experience was there, but it was the new level. Now it was big leagues. I had learned how to steal bases in the big leagues in the minor leagues. So I was still successful in the major leagues. But when I got to Oakland, I had a little conflict. And that's where Ricky came in, where he could give me advice as to how to proceed, And hey, one thing he said, man, just make sure you're safe.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So, and then you've obviously people like Miggy Tejada or Cabrera, Miguel Cabrera, guys like that. They just also have big impacts on your life. I mean, you seem like you're legit friends with him, right?
Yeah.
He seems like an amazingly nice guy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Miggy, at my first spring training, I can remember Miggy. I was like, man, how you hit, man? Like what? Like what am I doing? Hey, he said, man. He said this. Keep your head still. Oh, that's all I did. So I applied it that game. Got 3 knocks. I was like, oh. I was like, that is.
That easy.
I'm trying to keep my head as still as possible. Of course, I had to move a little bit, but and you know what? I was able to stay on the ball, and I had 2 like cheap hits. Then I had like 1 like off the wall. I was like, whoa, dang! This is how you hit, Mickey. Okay, I get
That's
it.
great.
Do any of the younger generation players that are active now that you've built relationships with, do they ever hit you up on the side and ask you for advice?
Yeah, I talk to some of the guys. I'm constantly in the clubhouses. That's via my position with Major League Baseball. So I'm thankful, that I have this position. I can affect these guys in a real positive way. So I'll talk to them about outfield stuff, base dealing, and it's about moving the game forward. I mean, this is what the fans want to see. The most exciting play in baseball, according to a survey that MLB polled for the fans of MLB, was the stolen base attempt. That is the most
Mm.
popular um, you know play. So that's something that is a part of the game. It's exciting for our fans, and this is what they want to see.
So
It kind of brings you back to like the Sandlot. It's like oh, the pick. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
yeah. I think it all started there.
That's right.
so Rajay, what are your thoughts on the larger bases this year?
Well, I think if I had larger bases, I could have a few more bags. But it's definitely it's like almost these guys say that it's almost like they don't even notice how much bigger they are now. Of
Mm.
course, you know initially they barely noticed it. They're about 3 inches square bigger than the 18 inches, as opposed to the 15 that they were. So it is significant difference, because a lot of the bang bang outs that I had would be bang bang safe now,
Right.
with the bigger base, and all those ones that I would kind of come off the bag just a little bit.
Mm.
I'm staying on the bag on those, and I got more base to kind of break with. So it's definitely it's obviously supposed to be more of safety, as well as to in kind of encourage base stealers to run, and that's what we've noticed, more base steal attempts, and the success rate has gone up. Is the highest it's been, I believe, since like 2012. So it's been really, really, really good.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be working um, in the right manner. I'm like a combination of a baseball purist, but also like let's make the game more fun from a fan standpoint. And I was a little bit again. I'm a huge Ricky Henderson fan. I mean, that was my idol growing up, and so I was like, I mean, I still don't think his stolen base record is gonna be touched personally, but I don't really like the idea of like maybe making it easier for somebody to touch it. But I went to the A's game last night, and there was two. They both had to go to replay, which kind of to me kind of defeats the purpose and slows things down a little bit. But they were super super close plays. They were super exciting plays, and I completely agree. Like I think it has made it more fun. I was actually looking at the All-Star balloting results the other day, and I saw Freddie Freeman was leading the National League first baseman, and I wanted to see like how he's doing compared to, I'm still a Matt Olson guy, and one of the things that stood out to me about Freddie Freeman was he's got 7 stolen bases now, and I'm like, I never would have thought like Freddie Freeman would steal 7 bases in his career, much less. So it's pretty cool to see that impact is out there and that teams are running more, and it's good for the fans.
Yeah, and the bigger guys, that where the pitchers stop paying attention to, they can take advantage of their tendencies.
Yeah, it's
um,
cool.
you had a question here about would you ever consider going the route of Travis Fryman, Coco Chris, and Dimitri Young, trying to get involved in the MLB draft league as a coach?
Go Scrappers, go Scrappers. They're up 6-3 right now. Hold on, sorry, had to throw that out there.
I hear you.
Right now with my, I have a young family. Like my daughter was in here. I'm going to put her to bed soon, but she's 9 and she's tall, but my son is 8, and right now they need me the most right now, and I have to be around them, my family, to just to kind of help raise them, and that's what's most important to me right now. And maybe down the road, I don't know, but right now it's family, raising them, and getting to experience some of those moments that I'll never get to experience again.
Wow, that's a beautiful answer, actually. The what you said? What's your current position with MLB? You said you're working with MLB right now.
Right. I'm the senior director of on-field operations.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I kind of just I work as like a liaison with the clubs and teams, and just kind of helping to kind of bridge the gap, and building relationships with the clubs, and
That's awesome.
obviously players, and the coaches and the staff, and all those kinds of things.
Oh, that's amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's great.
Yeah. So how did you cut? Did you actually collect bobbleheads, or you just get them by accident? Because I ended up with a whole bunch of these, and I had no idea you had so many bobbleheads.
Yeah, I was collecting them. I was collecting them. That was definitely my that was like my thing. I was like, I saw when I came up, I saw a collection like yours, in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
So
okay.
I went to Pittsburgh, and they had them all lined up, and they were loaded. The clubhouse equipment man, I was like, man, one day I'm gonna give me one. And so I started collecting. I started putting them on my ledge in the wall, and they started getting full. I started putting more on.
Mhm.
I was dying to ask that question because I was curious because you had quite a bit, man. You
Yeah,
surprised me.
yeah.
I mean, you just get them. You ask some like clubhouse attendant to help you get them, or what? Or
Oh
you have to
yeah,
actually.
oh,
Oh
absolutely. Yeah, you just pull in all resources. Go on the road. Let me get that.
yeah.
Trying to
Do
get
you,
everything.
do you know any other like MLB players or any players at all, any other sports that collect bobbleheads, like have a huge collection?
That's a good point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I've always wondered.
I
Off the
know.
top of my head.
I know of one, Cookie Carrasco,
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Dan Heron, he had them.
Dan
Oh,
Heron.
really?
Yeah, but
And
he's
it-
Hey, Raj, so can I ask you a question? So for like you had a lot of ones that you were on that team specifically, a lot from the teams that you played with. Would you just hear about it and like miss the conversation with other people and you would just interject and like, I'm getting one of those, just mark me down on the list? You know,
Sometimes it just comes down to just being in the right place, right time. Oh, you guys having bobblehead day?
okay, dude, I had to ask because
We're done.
no, dude, I had to ask. Pops would always show up with three. There was one for me, one for my brother, one for him.
Yeah,
Whenever there was one, it was like no, without asking. Hey, Dimitri, we got you. You're three. We got them for your kids. Don't even worry about it. So
yeah,
I knew you had a little system going. I knew it.
yeah.
Well, how about the Urkel one? How'd you end up with the Urkel one, man? This
Yes,
is
the
awesome,
Urkel
dude.
one. So that was actually that was part of. I went to the Ducks, the Rubber Ducks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That was I was doing a player appearance over there,
yeah.
and they were doing a promotion. I was like, oh man, Urkel, you mean Urkel comes here? You guys had Urkel here? What? How come I wasn't here? Man, I love family ties growing up. Man.
That's awesome.
One of my favorites is actually your piece. This is pretty slick, man. From your high school one, the Connecticut high school one.
Yes.
That's a clean piece, man.
That was my dream. That was my dream when I wanted to have at least one bobblehead. Like,
I know.
man, I thought I should have had like 5, but man, just give me just one, please.
Well, you should at least have one in Cleveland. There was somebody on here, Bummer, talking about the Game 7 home run. You should have at least one in Cleveland for that,
Right.
the minimum.
Yeah, it's a crime that they haven't done that yet. Maybe the Guardians will watch this video and get the point.
Or partner with them.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I know a guy who makes bobbleheads.
I said we need to get some bobbleheads made, man. That's
Yeah, I was
what we
about
should be
to
doing.
say. I'm about to say I know somebody in this chat that makes some pretty good bobbleheads.
Hey, we got Chris Davis and Mike Gallego coming out here right next week. Both of those cats are coming
10
out.
days.
So, yeah. So yeah, we should put something together. We do something for you, man. That'd be awesome.
Rajai, where was I? You know, it's a weird question considering that you played in the Oakland Coliseum, but you also got a chance to play in. Well, you played in all the ballparks, but as a home player, you played in PNC Park. You played in, I think, Progressive Field is now what it's called. Jacobs Field is what I remember it as. What was your favorite place to play from like from a standpoint of like just best amenities and all that? And then what was your favorite place to play in front of the fans?
Best amenities, I mean, hands down, New York, Yankee Stadium. They know how to do the thing. They do it right. Like that is the ceiling. Like that's the top. That's what everything is compared to. So that they receive the top tip
All right.
in New York, and then we work our way down. So as far as places to play, I mean, I love playing in Boston and New York, and just because I grew up in Connecticut, my friends were either Boston fans or Yankee fans. I don't remember ever meeting any Mets fans ever.
I don't think anybody has.
To this day. What's the worst ballpark you've ever been to?
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's major league, so it's you're not going to find too. It's not going to be too bad in the major leagues. Even Oakland's surface was probably hands down one of the best surfaces in infield.
Yeah.
Where I got to steal a lot of bases on. It was real nice, but I mean, it'd be hard to find a bad one in the big leagues.
That's right.
Now, Roger, I got a question for you on this one because, asking my dad this, I can think of the exact answer right now. Are you a big food guy, before I ask this question?
Food guy?
Do you like your foods? Do you like good eats?
I love to eat. Yes, I love to eat. I probably won't go all the way out and just look for a great place to eat, but
yeah,
I love to eat.
Okay. So now, second question coming in is, when I asked my dad this, I was like, hey, man, where's your favorite place to go just for the food? Like, it didn't matter if you're playing. It didn't matter if you're injured. If you got to travel with the team, you were just hyped about, oh, yeah, they got good food over there. His place was Chicago. They had a sushi place, and the dude that owned it knew my dad really well. And the chef, every time my dad walked in, he's like, he go crazy. I get whatever I wanted because he knew my dad was gonna eat up the store. Come on now, we're not saying he's 240 when he was playing. We're talking 320. Okay.
Yeah, Chicago has some real good places. You're absolutely right on with that. I just didn't know them, but I knew about Seattle. Seattle had Benihana's right next to the hotel we stayed in. Oh man, so I can walk there for lunch and get my own special. Man, that's all I needed. And we went there 3 times a year. Oh man. So we playing, roughly 17 and 19 games there. So I'm there a lot.
What's Rajai getting at Benihana?
At least 10 to 15 of those days were spent at Benihana.
What's the garlic fried rice?
What's Rajai getting there? Shrimp and steak?
I'm switching it up a little bit, but mainly the chicken and teriyaki sauce. Yeah,
okay.
you got to go with that teriyaki sauce on top, and they cook. Ooh, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to try that because I don't go 15 times a year, so it's usually steak and shrimp.
That's when times were different.
Yep.
Changed since. Now I got to go to Yankee Stadium to get Benihana.
They have it in the stadium?
in the stadium.
Oh, well,
Man,
no
that's
wonder
dangerous.
it's
what?
such a
That's
You are
dangerous.
right.
It's
Yeah,
dangerous. It's
yeah.
dangerous. It's dangerous
Wow.
when I go over there. It's dangerous.
Wow.
That's an expensive game.
I had to bring my own sandwich into the open Coliseum last night.
Yeah, wow.
So with your current position with the MLB, you get to travel. I'm assuming, or do you get to travel to every ballpark?
Yeah, so I mainly travel to City Field and Yankee Stadium for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
but we do the special. I do a lot of the special events, All Star games, the one-off games, playoffs, those kind of things.
Nice.
You got
So
a
are you going to be at the All
reservation?
Star game?
I'm sorry.
Are you going to All Star game?
Oh, I'm there
You already
already.
got
Got
you
that
already got
ticket.
your reservations at Benihana for that?
You know, I gotta stop over there. I mean, you know what? I think they changed it. I think they changed it a little bit. It might have changed ownerships. So I'm not sure if Benihana still owns that one.
Hmm.
I haven't been to that in a while.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
good.
But in that Benihana, they have a picture of all the celebrities in there. So you
That's
see,
cool.
uh, Hernandez, Felix Hernandez, King Griffey, Harold, all the the Mariner greats, and uh, obviously the Supersonics was
Mm-hmm.
big, and a lot of the football players as well. So they got a wall of fame over there.
So
I
you got
got
a specialty of a walk off too, right? Because I ended up with the cleats and some game used stuff from the walk off from Bomel's 1000th game win.
Yes,
That
yes.
was pretty.
game.
Bomel
That was
seems like an
special.
amazingly nice, like a great coach from a player standpoint too, right?
Yeah, he was a player's coach. He's what you call a player's coach.
Yeah.
He's looking out for the players. He's trying to keep an in on the players and keep the players happy, and to give the players what they really want. And sometimes he's not able to do that, but he's honest about it and upfront. He'll let you know, hey, man, my hands are tied. I mean, if it was me, I'd have you in there, Raj.
Say no more.
I miss Bomel, so I love Bomel. He gave off that impression, and it seemed like players just love playing for him.
I'm surprised at how he's doing this season with all of the talent that the Padres have. I thought that with his style and all that talent, I thought that they would be better. And obviously, we're not even halfway through the season yet. There's a lot of ball to be played, but I hope that they turn it around, because with the amount of money they've got invested in that team, if they don't, I'm afraid of what might come for Bomel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey Rajai, I wanted to ask you, who's the most difficult pitcher? Like, who's the pitcher you were just like, oh, I don't want to get in the box against him today? And who's the pitcher that you had the most success against?
I think if I had that mindset, I don't want to get in the box with him. I was like, man, dang, I wanted to get in the box because I wasn't playing enough to say that. So
That's a good point.
I'm like, man, give me a chance. I'm gonna make a name of myself. If the bigger name, the bigger the better, boy. The better for me.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm gonna make a name.
Right,
That's
right,
a good
right.
point.
I need to make a name for myself and getting these guys because you get the label early in the career, and it's tough to shake the label. You can only hit left-handers,
Mm.
or you can only you got a platoon, this, that, and third, So it's tough to shake that label when you get it. And it takes persistence, work, and you got to continue to do it every year and throughout the year, and that's the challenge. But it's worth it when you get to get an opportunity to play against some of the best. But Chapman, right up there, as very difficult. I didn't have a hit off him in the regular season. I think I was 0 for 8. 6,
Unbelievable.
whatever it was. He just threw really hard, and the fact is, no one threw that hard from the left side. No one was that close from the left side. Man got long arms. I mean, he might be 7 foot. from length, width wise. You know,
Wingspan, yeah.
yeah, it's man, the boy is long. He long.
He's a big guy for sure. So is there a pitch? Is there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
No. Go ahead. I just gotta excuse myself, Rajai. Once again, man. Thank you again. Much love to you, Damon. I'll be talking to you, man. I'm gonna have to suplex you when I see you, bro.
Dude, I told you, Walls of Jericho, baby. I'm down for it, man.
I'll see you guys, man. You guys have a great one. Much love,
Thanks,
fam.
boy.
Peace.
Thank you,
All
fool.
right, take care, man.
Well,
So
go ahead.
is there a pitcher that was kind of like, you're in the on deck circle and he's kind of like that Benihana chicken teriyaki? You're just drilling because you're gonna get a hit off him.
You know, pitchers were they were the relievers. If we talk about relievers were a little challenging because one year they might be great, next year they might fall off a little bit and not be as good. And so you while they're down, you kind of stomp on them and you run with them. And but when they lights out, man, it's tough because you don't get to see them as much. But when you do get to see them back to back, like I did, I got to see Chapman in the that 7-game series. I got to see him 3 times, and that was the third time. You know what they say about that third time round?
Yeah.
But that was third time round in a short period of time. That's what makes, I think, relievers so effective is the fact that you don't get to see him. You don't get to see the arm slot. You don't get to see how it comes out of his hand. You don't get to see it. And so when you can replicate that and you can see it now, when I can picture it in my mind, now I can see where exactly I need to be, what I needed to do exactly. And it's tough to replicate that unless you have that real experience or that angle, which a lot of times they have now.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask you a question about this? So for me, I always ask my dad, who was the pitcher that when you faced him, you knew it was going to be the most challenging, one of the more challenging things of your life. And my dad was like, Damon, I try to make everything look simple, but there's just some people out there that just don't make it look simple. And I was like, well, who was that for you? He's like, Mariano Rivera. I got no hits off of him. I went 0 for 6, and I think it was 2 strikeouts, and then it was 4 strikeouts, and then 2 double plays that my dad hit right to him.
Oh man, I'm sorry to say that because I got a double off Mariano.
Okay, well, time out. Now, well, you got to tell me so I can go back to Pops with you. How did you hit the cut?
I'm like 2 for 5 off Mariano.
Okay. Look. Because my dad, we'd start laughing because he's like, look, I couldn't hit him from the left side. I'd switch to the right side because, all right, man, cutter's not going to do nothing to me. Nope, it got me. Okay, so then I'd switch back to the left thinking I'm going to get him. I never got him, okay? I would do anything in my power to throw him off. Never did.
No, he stayed with that cutter was pretty nasty though. It looked like a fastball just moving across. I was like, oh my gosh. It didn't look like these fastballs here. Like it was like a cutter like no other. It was nasty. Man had some oomph on that. I had to go ahead and bait him though. I did. I baited him into a double. I did because the game before he hit me with the 2. See, I thought he only threw cutters. That's what they said, right? He only threw cutters. This man threw me a 2-seam fastball that ran into my hand, jammed me. I hit it to the shortstop, and of course my daughter's coming back, so it's almost by that time got to put it to bed.
You're good.
So the next day, I'm like, I know what's coming first. Anybody know what's coming first? I didn't tell nobody. I let him know. I know he gonna come with this 2-seamer. And look, the first pitch, I'm gonna be ready for it. This is my one shot. Okay, I'm gonna be ready for it. Sure enough, he throws me the 2-seamer down and in, and I crush it down the line.
That's awesome.
Crush it like the third baseman. Like it was already by him. Like and I get the second, right? And then I think I'm gonna steal long. Marion. I'm gonna steal third base. I think I'm gonna steal third base. And it's late in the game, like we down like 1. True. Like so, but I think because my ego's talking now, like I'm gonna get him now. This man picked me on in the game. Of course, if we had replay, I would have been safe. But we in Yankee Stadium. We got Robinson Cano with the tag or the fake tag, and we got Mariano on the ball. So you out Yankee Stadium. You out. You just rise. You out, boy.
That's
an
great,
awesome
man.
story.
Well, you go put your daughter to bed. Then we appreciate you, man, taking your time with us. I can't be more grateful than you coming on with us tonight.
Seriously, Rajai, it's been a real pleasure. We appreciate it, and hopefully we can get a chance to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, this is fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful. So, but you got important things. You need to take care of the family and everything else. So I appreciate it. Next time you're out here on the West Coast, I'm going to keep track and try to find you, make sure you're out here, or if I can get you, and I'll come and say hi in person.
Maybe we'll go to Benihana.
Yeah,
Benihana.
We'll hit up Benihana. Cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
Take care, Rajai. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. All right. So, Damon.
Thank you too, Damon. Appreciate it, man.
So you going to come back on as a guest again? We'll do a regular night guest?
Dude, let me know, man.
Okay.
Let me know.
Now that we're on this platform, we don't have to worry about all the technical issues.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, dude, this is way easier. This is, wow.
Way better.
Yeah, this is better. It's better. I want to thank you for getting him on. I didn't mean to dominate with him, but we didn't get much time. I didn't want to waste his time or nothing else like that. So I want to thank you for that. Number one, this is because of you.
Oh, dude, no worries at all.
For sure, man. Thank you.
And last night at the field was terrible. Well, it was great and it was terrible because I feel like it was a funeral, but I feel like it was. But it was like being there with all your friends and family and everything else, and very emotional. I think it was emotional for both Mark and I.
Yeah, those weren't. And to answer your question about the garbage, I know Rob. I saw Rob after the game in the parking lot, and I asked him jokingly, "Did you throw anything?" And we both kind of said the same thing. Those weren't A's. I mean, there were A's fans, but they weren't true A's fans that were doing that. And somebody at my work today asked me about it too, and they're like, and I was like, dude, one thing you got to remember is this isn't the first team we've lost in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
People are pissed. Now I don't condone throwing stuff on the field.
Well, can you guys explain to me what teams you guys lost? Because I can't figure out that. The Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders. The Warriors just moved across the bay. So I personally don't consider them a loss. It's not like they didn't leave Oakland. The owner bought the team and said, I'm going to build in San Francisco. It wasn't like I'm going to build in Oakland or San Francisco. Give me a deal. But they lost the Raiders.
I need an honest answer on this because I've been seeing where, the community of Oakland, was it you guys raised $600 million for a new stadium?
Oh, right.
I mean,
so my question is what do we you see where for me, just an outsider's perspective looking in, it's just
why?
Well, first of all, how the hell do you accumulate $600 million? There's people that slave away a lifetime just to try to see a cent of that. And I mean, it was for a stadium. First of all, where did the money go? Did it get dispersed back to the people that, helped fundraise? Or, what went on there?
Well, first of all, nobody raised $600 million. The number is closer to $400 million. And all of that money, it's not like that's not like from a GoFundMe or anything. That money was that's all government and state and federal grants that were given to provide. Now it's going to still happen because whether they build a stadium or not, there's a lot of infrastructure around that area that's needed in terms of repairing the train tracks, repairing the streets.
Okay.
So it's going to go to the community one way or the other.
Okay. Okay.
but it was part of the deal that the A's said needed to be done that they didn't want to pay for. So that it wasn't like Rob and I are,
Okay.
it's not like church where we're
Look,
giving 10% of our
Because
checks every week.
look, you understand how a lot of the headlines are. When I'm reading stuff, it's making it seem like there was like, and I'm not saying like a GoFundMe, but it was like, we need to get this money. So people are like, hey man, we love the A's, so we're gonna chip in. And I mean, look, for me, I'm a baseball purist. I have a lot of friends that are into like that StatCast stuff and all that woo-wah. I mean, I think it's BS. I could have people sit here and go blue in the face trying to tell me otherwise until you could show me where, because they're trying to talk about how average isn't a thing anymore. So when I see you guys talking about it, I'm a huge purist of the sport. I'm a huge. I'm not trying to be flashy out there. This is my job. This isn't who
Sure.
I am. This is literally just what I do. Outside of this, how you guys were talking to Rajay about him collecting bobbleheads. It's like outside of this, I had a bobblehead collection. I like collecting bobbleheads. For my father, you see the stuff behind me that, he likes collecting action figures for himself, which, he has a personality outside of that because, he understands that it is the game. You know what I mean? You always have that respect for the game. Like when you see, for example, Ryota Machida, I loved watching him because when he'd knock you out, instead of trying to go in for that vicious KO, he would sit there and check and see if his opponent's all right. He had that purest love for martial arts that he's not trying to overdo or overextend. So, I mean, that's why I had to ask these questions to you guys because I know that I'm not talking to somebody that's, going to try and blow smoke up my ass or trying to tell me, what's going to be the next headline. I want to see what the actual, I eat, sleep, breathe, shit this stuff, what you guys have to say because I love watching baseball in its entity. I hate seeing baseball fall apart in some aspects. And for me, myself, I think baseball is moving more so from the game into a business. And I think that those two should have always been separated. The business should have been the business. The baseball should have been the baseball. And I'm not telling the athletes that they don't deserve more money. They deserve everything that they generate. They put their bodies on the line for that, but it's like in any healthy business, I feel that it should be distributed enough to where, the Oakland Coliseum, whether it be the owner, because I mean, you guys aren't getting paid. I'm sorry, like the players ain't getting paid out there in Oakland. We're not talking about anybody that's got $30 million a year. You know what I mean? So it's like, where's that money going that's being made? Like what's going on there?
That's the problem, dude.
That's the $1 billion question right there.
That's just to give you a little education on what's happening here is the owner of the team, John Fisher, has been on revenue sharing for years. Revenue sharing meaning there's a select number of teams that don't make enough money, and the rest of the owners that do pool their money together, and he gets a check amongst there's other teams. I'm sure the Pirates are probably a part of that. The Brewers are probably, anyways, they get a lump sum every year. It's somewhere in the $20 to $30 million range. Well, the intent behind that is that those owners reinvest that into their clubs. Not from a like making the stadium nicer. It's all good, but yeah, like
I didn't hear any of that. I was going to ask if you could repeat that. I'm so sorry. Dude,
it's all good.
I'm not like real tech savvy or anything like that. So when the FaceTime came in, I was like, how do I hang this up? I kept going down on the volume and I was just getting lower. I was like, okay, hold on.
No, it's all good. So let's see if I can do it again because it was really good.
That was good practice.
Yeah,
yeah, dude, that was a good practice speech. Now this is, look, you were in the on deck circle on that one, okay? Now you're facing a Rotus right here.
Let's go. Let's see if I can hit one out. So basically what I was saying was that the owner of the A's for years and years and years has been getting revenue sharing. And I don't know if you know what revenue sharing is or not, but it's designed by Major League Baseball to give back to the owners of small market teams somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $30 million per year. And what the intent is that they reinvest that money into their clubs so that they can uplift their teams and there can be a competitive balance across baseball. Well, John Fisher, the owner of the A's, has for years and years, essentially pocketed that money. His payroll, even though they've had some winning teams over the last decade for sure, his payroll has never been in the top 50% for sure. He certainly hasn't put it back into the stadium. And so the frustration for A's fans, especially now, is like, well, now we have the bare minimum. We have the bottom of the barrel payroll. I think it's somewhere I think it's just a little over 30 million, if I'm not mistaken, this year. He's going to make more in revenue sharing this year. So he could care less if fans are showing up or not. In fact, last year, and this isn't just me or Rob saying this, Forbes just put out a thing month and a half, 2 months ago. He was the fifth. He made more money than 25 other owners in Major League Baseball last year. He was the fifth wealthiest owner from a revenue standpoint last season. And this year he'll be there or higher. And so it's like, how are we allowing, Steinbrenner brought it up yesterday, the owner of the Yankees. How are we going to continue to allow giving these owners all this money? Because it's coming out of the wealthiest owners' pockets. It's so stupid.
So basically what's going on is, like, with the revenue sharing, it's intended to go back to the team, go back to facilities and everything like that. Hopefully you look, man, we know that you guys don't have as much as us. So we're going to cut you a check, each one of us, from our team, what we make, and from some of us, we'll just cut it out of our own pockets. Use this, but the allocation of this money should just be for your team. But, you're getting 30, 40 million a year, and you're only paying people, your payroll for the year is 30 million. It's like, those add up. Those are continuous payments that are adding up that we're giving you. It's like, basically, I'm just paying you to be an owner. I'm just paying you to come in the meetings with me.
You're
sorry, I missed you guys up with a comment. Jay,
yeah, what is that?
Jay's getting sentimental on us, talking about in the chat. They're talking about the last chapter in Oakland.
They're still in the chat?
Yeah, we're live.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dude, what?
Did I say anything?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
We're having a good conversation. I was just letting it roll for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I'll shut you off if we're not.
I forgot what I was just going to say. But,
so basically, so if I'm, the Steinbrenner family, I got all the money. Realistic, we got the top-notch stadium. We're the Yankees, even though I got all the Reds gear on. I'm sorry. He's basically like, dude, I gotta pay you to be, like, I'm basically paying you to be in meetings with me. Like, the money that I'm giving you to fix up the stadium, you're obviously not fixing up the stadium with,
right?
But you're showing up to all these meetings trying to give us, the news story and everything. And then the next chapter, when we're all finally like, what's going on with you, is, oh yeah, my buddy out in Vegas, he's got a stadium for us, dude. It's pretty sick. Vegas is already paying for it. Like, how does that work? Is the team paying for the stadium out there, or is it the county of, I don't know what Las Vegas County?
Well, what they're saying is the stadium that there's no rendering for is going to cost $1.5 billion.
No
and
rendering.
They've pledged $1.1 billion, and they need the state and the county to cover the rest.
They pledged $1.1 billion.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And they don't even own the land. They're not going to own the land.
They're going to get free rent on the strip. It's going to be tax-free. They're going to get close to $400 million from the state. I mean, it's like, it's a great deal. It really is.
So like, all I'm saying is, what do I got to do to be a big league owner? That's what I'm trying to get into.
I know.
We're talking tax-free, getting the pocket some money. I get to sit with some dudes in suits and eat, sushi and stuff, and talk about my team, and then I get to go to Vegas.
They don't even have to pay sales tax either.
But here's the thing, Damon. And I know you're a young man, and
Yeah.
that's like Vegas is awesome, right? Like
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I'll be honest with you.
I know I don't like it either, but I did 20 years ago.
Yeah, I like when I was 21.
You gave me two. I can't do more than 2 nights in Vegas, but you gave me 2 nights in Vegas 20 years ago. Let's go right now. I would rather do 2 nights in Vegas than almost any other city in this country 20 years ago.
You
right?
see, I can't.
But here's the thing: as an owner of a major league franchise, you cannot tell me that you would long term that you would rather be in the 40th largest television market in the United States in a desert where you're surrounded by absolutely dick compared to being in the San Francisco Bay Area surrounded by tons and I mean you're drawing fans from everywhere. You're drawing fans from Sacramento where Rob's staying. I mean that's a huge media market in itself compared to
It's bigger than Vegas.
Right,
Yeah.
way bigger than Vegas. My point is that for a long-term business in professional sports, I would think, and I'm not just saying this as a homer, I would really think that you would rather be in the San Francisco Bay Area.
I would say for me as an owner, yes, just for the fact of, I mean, I have a couple buddies that played at UNLV. They never went to the strip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, I get it's an attraction for most people, but the pop value, the shock factor for people, it's gonna wear off at a certain point. I mean, I can't imagine, because when the Raiders moved, I I have family members that are huge Raider fans that, go to one game every now and again, but it wasn't the same as when they're in California, where I mean, I'm an hour north of LA. They're taking that 8-hour drive every Saturday just so they could be there. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
looking at it like that, it makes it a lot harder because look, dude, unless you're having an indoor stadium like Arizona, because the reason I hate Vegas, I'm not like a huge fan of drunk people being sloppy outside and making it your business. Not a big fan of that. Had a lady out there actually. This was the worst trip of my life. It was from my cousin's AAU tournament. Side note, they won the tournament, but for me, I was visiting one of my buddies from college. He came to the hotel we were at when I was going to dap him up in the hotel lobby. Just got these Jordans for the trip. Girl, drunker than can be. Like her friends were dragging her feet, where like feet were on the ground. She threw up some pink stuff all over my shoes. And
some pink stuff.
yeah, dude, I don't know what it was. And like I was more appalled than anything. Like I couldn't speak at the moment. I was like, you just threw up on me. And she was like, I'm sorry. And then even worse, my aunt, she was like, I'll get you new shoes. Wasn't tripping about it. The worst was the next day, I got heat stroke at night, and I don't know how the hell that works. So, dude, I'm half black. I get burnt on occasion, you know what I mean? But like, I gotta be out there to get burnt, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll go fishing for like 12, 14 hours, and I'll be good, but it's gotta be, a bitchin' day, as one would say.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But I feel like the market for it's going to be a lot harder to attract players because I mean, with the attractions that you do have in the Bay Area, I mean, if a player's like, look, dude, say that they don't want to live in Oakland, there's still places for them to live in that area. It's going to be 20-30 minute commute, but I mean, when we would go visit Delman when he was with the Twins, he would drive from his apartment to come pick me and my brother up at the hotel to drive all the way back to the stadium. And he lived right by the stadium. So it was like he's making a 30-40 minute commute just so we could go with him. So I can't imagine if a player, is actually getting paid $30-40 million a year, they wouldn't mind.
Well, I don't think that I would disagree. And Rob, I'm hogging a lot of this time.
I'm listening. Be fine.
I don't think attracting players is going to be even easier than it would be in Oakland. Well, here, let me tell you why. Number one, I mean, it's a young man's game. Vegas is a young man's game. These guys love nightlife. They love, so I think as far as
Yeah,
that goes,
you love the nightlife and everything, but you also have to worry about the on-field play. So it's like if you're getting too concerned in the off-field play and the nightlife, and say that it becomes a problem, because there have been multiple times where things have become a problem and they have had to do away with it. So I mean, I feel that if it becomes a problem and there's a nuisance out there, I don't see it sticking around for very long. And that's just my opinion on it, because you have to maintain that image of being a ball player as opposed to, I'm a superstar, so I can pose in the club with all these bottles getting drunk the night before a game. It's like,
I don't know that that's necessarily. I mean, baseball's always been a little bit more private than the NFL and the NBA has
yeah, but
been.
we're in the social media age.
No,
We're
you're
in this,
right. You're right,
and
but
and that's the
I
problem.
think the team. I think the teams are very well aware of that, and they'll put people in the right places too. I mean, it's not going to not happen. But the other reason I think it'll be easier to attract players there, the biggest reason, there's no state income tax in Nevada.
That's what I'm.
Yeah,
But here's the
you
one
got
thing. Here's the
got a point.
the caveat to all that. It might be. I mean, maybe if the owner of the Mets is moving the team to Vegas, it's something to. That's
Right,
this is a
right.
conversation to have.
We're
John
talking.
Fisher ain't. He's not paying anybody, dude.
He's a garbage owner.
He's not going to pay. You think he's going to make a play on? Let's
No.
just say hypothetically speaking, they were already there. You think he's making a play on Shohei Ohtani?
No way.
Fuck no. Not even close.
I
Dude.
remember the payroll is 30 million, and he's already got 1.1 billion going to the stadium. So I just want you to know, and that rendering, okay, that costs something too. You got to pay somebody beforehand to get that rendering up for
Bro,
you.
I
So,
could have done that for you.
They had a graphic.
yeah,
Had somebody do it on their
graphic
phone
design
one night.
but that's what I'm saying. So I mean, we're not talking to Steve Cohen going out there where he's willing to give,
Right.
Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander late in their career, $43.3 million, which, I mean, of all players, for me personally, most deserving. Most deserving of that money.
Yeah.
You worked hard. You had a beautiful career. Let's send you off with something like one of the best gifts possible. And when I saw that contract come out, all I thought about was, when DJ Khaled, he's all over Instagram, when he's like, I like what Drake likes. You got Max Scherzer with the 43.3, and Justin Verlander's walking into the office. I like what Drake likes. But,
yeah. No, I agree. The owner's good. The owner's ass. He's gonna be ass once he's out of it. He's just trying to keep afloat. He just uses it as his own personal income, which I don't have a problem making money, but he's not a man that should be owning a professional sports team. He's not. He's far from it. And I don't understand the fraternity of ownership of a professional ownership. You know what I mean? Because even Mark Cuban kind of dabbled on a little bit with a post like, hey, if I'm getting $35 million a year to do nothing, you know what I mean? You can see why he's not leaving. You know what I mean? He's not doing shit. You know what I mean? Or whatever he's getting just for running the team out. But there's zero incentive for him to do anything. I mean, and he's gonna go move to a whole new city where he's gonna spend 1.1 billion. I know he's not. He doesn't even have 1.1 billion dollars.
He's also moving to a city where he's going to continue to get revenue share.
Right. Even better because it's a smaller market.
You know what's messed up? You said that man ain't got 1.1 billion for the stadium. Hey, he's been saving that revenue sharing for a while now. Okay, don't you speak about my man's like that.
He saved
it. Sharing,
he saved it in Gap. He saved it in Gap stock, and Gap stock went down 75%. He ain't got shit.
hey, we're trying to reconcile with Ye. Okay, they're getting some PR done on his side. Okay, it's not us. It's not us. You should be worried about. Okay, I don't know why the spotlight was put on us for that one. Okay. You see, I would be a perfect PR guy for him because I could play devil's advocate. I could hear everybody out, but then I'm like, hey man, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Reverse though, I'm getting paid to be here. So I'm gonna give you guys the most entertaining, 15, 30 minutes you guys want in this interview. You know what I mean? I tell that to any reporter. I mean, put me on the New York Post and I'll tell them, hey man, look. You guys are dealing with the Rolex wearing, okay, diamond ring wearing, okay,
Jet flying.
riding, flying, wheeling, dealing, stealing. Son of a gun. You know what? He's having a hard time keeping his alligators on the ground, so you might want to back up because they're about to start jumping. You know what I mean?
That's a good note to end on, Damon. I gotta get this kid some dinner. I
We're
could
gonna
do this all
bounce.
night, but
We're gonna bounce.
I'm
We're gonna
right
get you
now.
back on. We'll get you back on again, and just with you next time.
Dude, let me know. Let me know whenever you guys are free. Thank you so much for the night,
Cool,
though.
man. I appreciate
Thank
you
you very
helping me
much,
out
Damon.
tonight. All right,
Of course.
I'm gonna end the broadcast now for real, Mark.
all right, thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thank you, everybody. I appreciate
Take
it.
care,
Talk
guys.
to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.